Hello, gentlemen. I hope everybody's doing well. I was recently sitting here and I was watching scenes from the movie Apocalypse Now, and something clicked in my head that really didn't really click until now. When I make videos and I talk about the things I talk about and I research about the feminist issues and the current sociological, psychological position of the current male and female relation as it stands in the modern day culture. We are in a gender war. We are literally in a gender war. War doesn't have to be fought with bullets or knives or fist fighting. In the modern day age, war can be fought subversively. And the more and more I take a look at all of these things that are happening around us, the more and more I see that we're in a war. The way that it stands that I've observed is that the male and female have been separated from what their true duty was to be in terms of male and female together. Another thing that comes to mind is the purpose of life. The purpose of life is survival. But what has happened due to technology is that that need has already been done. Because it's no longer just about survival. It's about fulfilling what feels good. You see, the technology has made things easy for us. It's benefited us, it's helped us, but it's made people weak in many cases. And the need for survival is no longer there because that need has been taken care of by progressing in society. We now have technology, we have business, we have cars. We don't live in the jungle. We don't have to go out and spear a wild animal for food and then skin it and then build a hut. We don't have to do that. So, in my opinion, the purpose of life is survival. Well, when that no longer becomes necessary to depend on survival because you have everything at your disposal now and everything's there, then you no longer have the need to prepare your body or your mind or your soul for survival. Let's take a look at the modern day condition. We have iPads, we have cell phones, we have laptops, TV, internet, Wi-Fi, cars. We live in the modern day time. We have all the technology we need, and we get by just fine. But when you cut that off, people freak out because they have lived and are living in a matrix, an artificial created matrix. Because when you look around, everybody has their attention on their cell phones or on some kind of technology or some ideology or condition of the modern day age. There is no longer the need to worry about just getting through the day or survival. Going back to the gender war, we are in a war. We're in a war against the opposite species. Whether or not you want to claim this was done on purpose, which in many cases I believe it has, We're in a war regardless. There are costs to war. There are side effects of war. It doesn't have to be shooting people in a jungle somewhere. It can be done psychologically, subversively, through technology, which is what's happening. This is the modern day war that we see. And there are consequences and side effects to that. We look at the brainwashing media. We look at the side effects of what that has on people. We look at the feminism and what that has the effects on women today, and its relation to how they treat men. I keep going back to the dating scene as no more of a perfect example of how this is the case. The whole society is pitting war against men. War against our biology, war against our biological urges and our biological nature, war against us being human. Because in the modern day age, human is not needed, because the technology has grown to a point where it is not needed to have the human interaction when everything is done via a computer system or a computer program. And especially when you have everybody putting all of their information and attention into the technology. There is no more need for the human. This is the transhumanist agenda. The modern day dating scene is a war in itself. Take a look at your modern day woman, your modern day female. What do they care about? What do they put their attention towards? And how do they behave? It seems like everything they do is to go against men in some way, shape, form of another. Or another. Whether it be their disdain in how we conduct ourselves, or how we behave, there is a war against the men and the women, the male and the female. There is no place in the modern day age for marriage or for family, because it is obsolete when everybody's putting their attention on technology. You know, I'm going to link a scene from Apocalypse Now. And it's a scene where Marlon Brando is speaking about what it takes to become a soldier, what it takes to become somebody to survive a war. And one of the things he says in that movie is a man has to be able to have morality, but also has to be able to ignite their primal instincts and act in defense without any kind of feeling or remorse. Because he says that judgment is our defeat. I think that's an extremely powerful message when it comes down to survival and the psychology and the mentality of survival. We have to be able to move past being hurt or affected by what women do. I understand that there's a time and there's a place for everything. There's a time and there's a place to vent. There's a time and there's a place to be angry and aggressive because of the current condition. But if we don't move past these things and we don't prepare ourselves and move forward, then we will only become victims of the very thing that brought us down to this level to begin with. What am I trying to say? At some point, you have to move on. You have to move on from the fact that women, in many cases, don't give a flying shit about men. You have to move on from the fact that feminism's main objective is to totally feminize and destroy men. You have to move past the fact that the media and the movies and the news and the books and the propaganda all is designed to be against us. No shit. I think we all can see that right about now. The question is, are we going to sit back and let it just take over us and become a victim of our own victimhood? Are we going to realize, yeah, shit went wrong, things aren't going to work out, and we need to prepare ourselves and adjust? Because if we don't adjust to different situations going on in the world and in our own personal lives, we're not going to get anywhere. We're going to lose. We're going to lose our sanity. We're going to lose our mental health. We're going to lose many things that keep us barely together after realizing and taking the red pill. We're going to lose all of those things because we can't move forward. I'm very aware of the modern day dating scene. I've been a part of it before. I've done it for 5 years. I know what it's like. I know what it's like to get rejected constantly, and you're trying to be a nice person. You're trying to do the right thing. You're trying to be moral. You're not trying to hurt anybody. You're just trying to do what you feel is right. And then you get shot down by somebody who's completely inferior to you, who thinks that they know everything, and on top of that is promoted to do those things in the modern day culture. It's designed to break you down psychologically, to make you give up. I'm not here to give up. I'm here to survive. Whatever is thrown my way, I have to adjust to it, or I will not make it. You see, in the Mgtow community, we have been educated, and we've been told how things went wrong and how we all got screwed over. We all know this by now. But if we can't move past the fact, then we're not going to get anywhere. We're going to continuously sulk in our own victimhood. We can't have that. We have to adjust to the situation at hand. Well, part of the adjustment means that you have to come and discipline yourself and come to the realization that modern day dating is a scam. It is a joke. It does not work. You have to come to the realization that women hate men in the modern day dating age. They want nothing to do with men. They can't stand them. We can say that they're sociopaths. We can say that they're brainwashed all day long. It doesn't change the facts. We can put names to everything. I could come up with a laundry list of names to describe the modern day woman today, and I'd probably be right about at least 5 out of the 100 that those are the cases, but it doesn't change anything. We can call them out all day long. Does that change anything? No. They're going to continue to do what they're going to do, and that's it. They don't care because it benefits them right now. If something benefited you, would you give up just to feel like you're going to uphold some kind of moral standard in a situation where things are so unpredictable and rocky in the world? Or you have things really easy? You see, we can come up with all these different things about women all day long. I understand it feels good to let it out. I got to let it out sometimes too. But we got to adjust and we got to move on, or we will fall. We will fall due to our own victimhood of being victimized and letting our own minds do the victimization and keeping us in a place that we can't move past that. You see, if you watch too many videos about how women hate men all day long, you're going to suffer psychologically. Everybody has a breaking point. Sometimes I can't take it anymore. I can't stand to hear the word anymore. It makes me sick. Sometimes I gotta vent. Sometimes I have to let it out. And that's good. You gotta let it out. Because if you hold it in, it's going to blow at one point or another. But I'm not going to allow that to become my life, because we're wasting time. We have to adjust. This is why I say we're in a gender war. Not just a gender war. There's a whole bunch of wars going against the human right now. The human species, the human mind, with technology and cell phones eliminating communication, eliminating social constructs, eliminating ability to have fluent language, the ability to communicate properly, eliminating behavioral patterns that are considered moral. And it's damaging us. It is hurting us. We have to be able to move past these things. War isn't pretty. It's ugly. And there are always side effects of war. But are those side effects going to control your life? Are you going to be able to function when you constantly are worried all the time, or pissed, or frustrated? You're just going to give yourself a heart attack and high blood pressure, hypertension. You know, most men die of worry. I just read this article the other day that says that almost all the men these days worry. They die of worry. They grow an age of worry. Worrying about bills, worrying about housing, worrying about where am I going to get, how's my future going to be? Worry about the politics, worry about where the country's going, worry about how am I going to defend myself, worrying about looking over my shoulder when I go in public because of what you see in the mainstream media, what you see going on in the world, and how you see things degrading. Worry, worry, worry constantly. Constant stress. If you don't know how to work with stress, stress will take over you. War isn't pretty. And it's especially not very pretty when they've actually started a war against the male and the female. War at the most biological, centered, and simplistic level. Believe me, that's going to hurt. And I see hurt in men every fucking day. From the feminism, to the brainwashing, to what the government tells you, to what the media tells you. Constant hate. We hate men this. We hate men that. Women. We hate men. They are not good enough. They should be the ones doing this. It's fucking psychological warfare. And those women are nothing more than useful idiots participating in the other's demise and their own demise. You know, women have a curse put upon them. That's the curse of having to deal with the stress of being a man. And now women are truly equal. They're equal in the sense that they now, because they've been given the opportunity to go into STEM fields and work hard in top CEO positions and get all the fancy packages and the government has to offer and a high-paying job. Well, guess what? Now you get to worry about the very things that men worry about on a daily basis. Worrying about business, worrying about how the finances are coming in, worrying about how to be more productive in business, how to stay on quota. Now women get to worry about those things, on top of worrying about how they look, about if they're going to get married and they're going to have kids. Now they get to worry about the reality of the real world. That is a curse as far as I'm concerned. It is the curse of now worrying how a man has to worry. They wanted to be equal, they're going to be equal, not just in the sense that you call them equal, but they're going to be equal in the sense of carrying the same stress load as we do. Believe me, everybody's suffering from this one. Not just men. Women are suffering too, and they're going to keep suffering because this is a war against the male and the female, the gender war. Nobody escapes this. It's not like the women are going to go off and go live in La La Land while the men are bleeding out of their fucking eyeballs and their hearts are ripped out. No, no, no. It's not going to work that way. Trust me. Everybody is suffering. Everybody is suffering. Because now they get to deal with all the stress that we do. And it ages them quicker. It burns them out quicker. They age quicker. Their bodies aren't built for that kind of workload, which is why most women are horrible in business. They can't manage and handle the stress. It's not their position to be in. It wasn't their position to be in. Men can handle stress better. We're the ones that go off to war. It's in our genetics. It's not in their genetics. That's why they're suffering too. Because they're doing something that they're not genetically able or superior to do. So they're suffering too. Nobody's getting out of this one. But we have an advantage because men are genetically able to endure much more. Genetics and war is in the blood for men. It is in our genetics that we defend and we go to war. But we have to realize that because this technology has effeminized us to death. This transgender push has effeminized, can't say that word, effeminized us to get us weak and not able to tap into that primal instinct of survival, that we can make it through this. But we're not going to make it through this by constantly complaining and worrying. We have to take action in our own personal lives. This means we can't go on dating sites anymore. We can't associate with women anymore because it doesn't work. There is a war against us. You going to go in bed with the enemy? Yeah, our enemy is women in the case that they are attacking us with propaganda. They are the useful idiots. So thus, we have to defend ourselves. And part of defending ourselves means don't walk into the fucking honey fucking trap, the honey pot. Don't walk into the beehive and think you won't get stung. It's cautionary. It's prerequisites. It's common sense. And in this case, the beehive is the dating scene. The beehive is the modern day woman with her technology and her highfalutin attitude of narcissism. That is our beehive. That is the bear trap. That is what we have to avoid, or else we will get trapped. The bear claws will come down on our legs. This is the modern day condition.